Welcome everyone to Frank Analysis. My name is Franco. I've been gone for a while. That's because I was moving. I'm all settled into my new place. I had some upgrades to my studio, so I'm really excited to get back in the game and start making more videos. So I have other videos that are lined up, but I felt like I really had to make a video about the election. And right now there's a lot of debate about whether the election was stolen by Joe Biden from Donald Trump. Now, what is the objective stance to take about the election and whether it was stolen by Biden or not? The objective stance, if you have not looked at any evidence, is to say that you don't know. Because why would you trust our election process in our mainstream media, which is owned by corporations, which have a vested interest in certain candidates? Why would you trust that 100%? I'm not saying whether it was actually stolen by Biden or if it wasn't. I'm just saying that if you haven't looked at the evidence, then you should take the stance of not knowing. And that should encourage you to actually look at the evidence if you care about our democratic process and if you care about whether our democratic process is in fact a democratic one. You also can't definitively conclude that Biden stole the election. You would need an insurmountable, undeniable evidence in order to suggest that, in order to conclude that definitively. Even the people that are conducting the most intricate amount of research about this right now, like Ryan Christian of The Last American Vagabond, is just saying that it probably happened. He's not saying that it definitively happened, just that probably happened. So I'm going to give you guys a guide as well as explain to you how our election system is ripe for election rigging. I'm not taking a stance in this video on whether Biden actually stole the election. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying that there is a possibility. And that if anyone wants to be objective, they should acknowledge that there is a possibility. So this is an article by Truthout. It came out in 2016. And I just want to read this part of the article to you guys. Cybersecurity experts and white hat hackers who have gained access to the machines over the years report that every component of these electronic voting systems are ridiculously vulnerable to fraud. Machines are not safeguarded and sit vulnerable for weeks leading up to an election. The shoddy locks and keys on the machines are easily opened and replaced. Machines can be breached without breaking official security seals. The secret software can be rigged with malicious self-deleting codes to steal elections. The rigged code will not be detected by standard security tests. Vote rigging viruses can be spread from one computer through an entire network. The administrative passwords are often easily hacked or missing entirely. One person can access voting systems and others can enter behind them. Last-minute patches to supposedly update software can harbor malicious code. Wireless connections are insecure and aren't always evident. Vulnerable hacking points include voter registration lists, any machines that are linked to the internet, any digital vote results that are transferred wirelessly to central tabulators, and all final vote tallies transferred to the website of secretaries of state. Dozens of technical reports and studies, books, films, and videos, articles, investigations, and even congressional whistleblower testimony have exposed the depth of this crisis. So this is not evidence to say conclusively that Biden stole the election. This is just evidence showing how sensitive our election system is and how ripe it is for rigging. And if you want more evidence to see how tech giants have a hold on some of these elections, check out Whitney Webb's article from back in 2019 on MinPress News called Microsoft's Election Guard, a Trojan Horse for a Military-Industrial Takeover of U.S. Elections. So I'm just talking about the voter machines here for now. The people who own these machines, they have a profitable interest in how these elections go. These machines are owned by multinationals. So this doesn't mean that there definitely is election fraud. You and I would have to dive deep into the evidence in order to conclude that. But it also doesn't rule out the possibility of election fraud. So Robbie Yeager, who does deep research in the finances of politicians and movement organizations, he found evidence of an ex-Obama administrative official that sits on the board of Dominion Voting. His name is William Connard, and he sits on the executive board of Dominion. He was the U.S. ambassador to the EU under Obama. He was the chair of the Federal Communications Commission under Bill Clinton after the 96 Telecommunications Act, and he is a Democrat. So one should question the interests that some of these executive board members have on the elections, and if they have too much control over these voting machines that are easily hacked and can be easily rigged. The DNC cheating is also nothing new. We saw what happened to Bernie Sanders in 2016, and this was proven via the WikiLeaks emails that were released. There was also a lot of sketchiness that happened back in February in the Iowa caucuses with the Shadow app that had financial ties to Pete Buttigieg and his campaign. Also, look at our foreign affairs. Look at how the U.S. has overthrown governments in the past, how they've meddled into elections and installed coups in other countries. Do you not think that they're going to try similar tactics here at home? So I'm going to show you an example of some people who are not taking an objective stance because they already have their minds made up saying that the election was not stolen. They're acting like they know for sure that the election was not stolen, even though they haven't even looked at evidence. So this is from @DougsDoubleBub. They got into an argument with me on Twitter. They said, "You think the election was rigged. Okay, that's a pretty big allegation. So you should have some good evidence to justify your belief. Real Clear Politics retracting their call, if they even called Pennsylvania in the first place, isn't it?" I wasn't doing that. I wasn't saying that that's evidence that the election was stolen. So I said, when did I ever say that? My stance is don't jump to conclusions unless you've looked at evidence. Blindly believing what corporate media tells you does not count as evidence. So Jordan Chariton, he's from Status Quo. He's a big name. He's a big name journalist, independent journalist. I respect some of his work. He said, "What evidence is there to look at?" Like he replied to me, "What evidence is there to look at?" In all caps. "Where is the evidence of a widespread / multi-state election fraud that flipped hundreds of thousands of votes from Trump to Biden?" And I said, check out The Last American Vagabond. If you're instinctively repelled by Nico and Convo Couch, because he made a video calling them out, saying that they're conspiracy theorists, and I said, or at least have them on, or have on Whitney Webb, if you want to be objective. The objective stance is I am not certain, because why would you 100% our establishment and mainstream media? And then I also said there's a lack of paper trail, the exit polls being out, media censures, and the proprietary software within the voting machines. Also the fantastic work done by The Last American Vagabond. I know as the objective journalist that you try to be, you'll check it out. There's also statistical evidence to show that this, the votes that went to Joe Biden were a mathematical and statistical anomaly. This is from a right-wing news site, though, so take that with a grain of salt. But also, look at the evidence. Don't just dismiss it. Actually look at the statistical and mathematical evidence before you dismiss it. I mean, there's well-documented mathematical and statistical questions that are raised and that show that what's mathematically and statistically normal during an election did not occur with the votes that went to Joe Biden. I mean, there's articles that are coming out every day about the sketchiness of our elections. So this was just posted today, just a few hours ago, by Whitney Webb. She put out a tweet linking to an article that she wrote. She said, new untested AI software was used to verify mail-in ballot signatures in highly contested localities like Clark County, Nevada. The Silicon Valley firm behind it, called Periscript, boosts close ties to Lockheed Martin and Microsoft. So I'll have that article linked in the description for you guys to check out for yourselves. Lockheed Martin, Silicon Valley, these are all corporations that have ties with the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, and the Bush administration, all of which have endorsed Joe Biden. And let us not forget the sketchiness that occurred in the 2000 election between George Bush and Al Gore, and how he allegedly stole the election from Al Gore. Also, between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, of course, both of them are dangerous. Of course, both of them are more interested in doing what the establishment wants than what the people want. But who is more competent? I would argue that Joe Biden is more competent than Donald Trump to carry out the establishment's interests. As what we've seen during Donald Trump's presidency, he easily spills the beans about the government's true intentions.
We've secured the oil, and therefore a small number of U.S. troops will remain in the area where they have the oil. And we're going to be protecting it, and we'll be deciding what we're going to do with it in the future.
My friend Charles of the Lone Wolf podcast, he put a video compilation of sketchiness happening on the ground during the voting count. So I recommend checking out his video as well.
God. Hi. Hey, so you with the elections? You're the Bureau of Elections, right?
Well, I'm just a volunteer.
We're just wondering what, okay, I understand you're a volunteer and you're just doing your job. What's all these? Are these mail-in ballots or what's these coming in?
What are these? These are my in tape here?
What's that?
Am I in tape as well?
Yeah, because we're wondering why are ballots being handled down here and not up there with the elections. So we're curious about that.
Okay, yeah, the gentleman who's in charge of this, I think, should be right back down.
What's his name?
Gosh, what is his name?
Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes. Since then, we have now discovered that 47 counties use this same software in the same capacity. And these counties that use this software need to closely examine their results for similar discrepancies.
He is marking the ballots. I filmed her a half hour ago doing 6, and she's still working at it. Let's stamp it, received. And let's fill in our 6 blanks. All at the top of the tickets on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Also, The Last American Vagabond has hours of evidence in his videos for you guys to check out. He dives very deep into the possibility of election fraud happening. So once again, if you haven't looked at the evidence, you cannot conclusively say that Joe Biden did not steal the election. It is more than fair to speculate that he could have. So that's all I have for you guys. Stay strong, stay informed, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.